I'll give it a second because I know it takes a little bit to stream, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you should be with me. So I wanted to talk real quick about priorities. This is something I've been thinking a lot about lately. And, every now and then we run into a property manager. Actually, this happens a lot, that they're not getting the results that they want. That's why they come to us at DoorGrow. And if you're not getting what you want out of your business, it's pretty simple. And I want you to just reevaluate your priorities. If you're not getting what you want out of the business, but you probably know ways you could add more doors. You probably know things you could do to grow. You probably know things that need to be improved in the business. But maybe you're not getting the results or things aren't happening. One reason might be is that your priorities are off. They're not the right priorities. Now you might think, no, I know what my priorities are in life, what those priorities are. And these things are important. And so your priorities may be like, let me see here if you can see this. Maybe it's like, family, is a big priority for you. Maybe your priority is, you might say something like to be a good father, or maybe your priorities are, power, status, uh, you know, something like that. Maybe, money's a big priority for you. Maybe it's not. But you've got to be clear on what your priorities are, because if your priorities are off, if they're off, well, let me explain this a different way. You may have all the right priorities. Like you look at all your priorities and you map them out and you're like, these are all right. But if you're not getting the results you want, then you probably have not prioritized your priorities in the right order. You need to reprioritize in order to get what you want. So I'll give you an example. These are some of my personal priorities, right? So for me, there's God. Like, what does God want? Like, what is that highest ideal? Whatever that is for you. You can call it God, universe, like your natural knowing, your inner self, like your whatever, your conscience or whatever. But for me, like God or whatever is the highest ideal I can muster in my own mind of what the way things should be done. That's top. Another might be I have power, status. Now, normally these would not be that high on my priority list. Money, I think related that I would categorize all these together because money, wealth, status, impact. I'm like not writing letters correctly. There we go. Impact. This is all kind of one thing for me. I kind of group that all together. Normally this wouldn't be super high on my list. This wouldn't be really high. But it'd be on my list. It's definitely, in my list of things that are my priorities. Health, I put a lot of attention on that. That's a big deal to me. I want to think sharp. I want to feel good, right? Health is wealth. I place this as a pretty high priority. Another priority would be, I would say friends, family, and maybe fun. I kind of categorize those all sort of go together, right? That's like family, friends, fun, the relationships, but there needs to be fun, right, in it. I prioritize that. That's a big deal to me. Family's a big deal. Like and historically I've put a lot of priority onto like being a good father, being a good husband, and put a lot of weight into that to the point where I'm pleasing other people and not even getting my own needs met, right? So it was out of alignment. Being a pleaser. Some of y'all have been pleasers, right? Like, are you being pleasers with your tenants, with owners? That can't be very healthy, right? There's others. Sex. I love sex. Like that's, and I'm sure many of you do too. That's a high priority, right? So if we have these in the wrong order, right? Like if I put this above like family and friends, like this is above like my relationship with my spouse, right? Then I might go get it elsewhere, right? Like that wouldn't be very effective. So where you place these matters a lot. This is a big deal. So here's how I kind of rearrange these, because this was actually pretty low. I was like, power, status, family's more important, like these kind of things. But then what I found was there were times where I wasn't making enough money to like take care of my family historically, like a long time ago. And there's there's this aspect of putting on your own oxygen mask first. And you can judge my priorities. You don't have to have mine. You're your own person. You can do yours however you want. But for me, first, God. Like, if I know something's right or something's wrong, I need to like do that first. And I trust that if I do that, if I listen to the voice that's calling me to do something, we don't just get inputs or decide. Like, things come to us. We feel called to do things. We get ideas to do things, and we need to listen to those. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy because a neighbor across the street decided to have the audacity to shut the door. Oh, hold on. I'm live on the live stream, right? Okay, that was my daughter. I had to get her in the house. All right, I love you. All right, so first is this. Then for me, to put things in proper alignment, this is how I put it. I put power, wealth, status. Now, this is not naturally how I feel sometimes inside, right? But I put this here. And the reason I want those is for impact. So this really kind of underlies it. But I have to acknowledge that power, wealth, and status are important in order for me to have the impact I want. And it's super important if I'm going to take care of my family and if I'm going to take care of my team. I have to prioritize this. If I do not, I'm not putting on my own oxygen mask first so I can take care of everybody else. So I've adjusted this one to be higher. My primary basic need, if you've ever studied this with like Tony Robbins or any of this stuff, is love and connection, which is like, I want to feel connected. I want to like have relationships, stuff like this. And so I would normally put that a lot higher than anything else, but that doesn't always prove to be the most effective prioritization. So then I have health. This is, again, putting on my own oxygen mask first. There's been times where, like, historically, like early in entrepreneurism, I just wasn't eating, sleeping, taking care of myself. I was just work, work, work. I got to take care of my family. I got to, that sort of thing. And so health is important. Super important to me. After I've taken care of these three things that I've placed at the top, then it's all my relationships, right? Like friends, family, fun. That's next. And really, I want there to be an aspect of fun in all of this, right? It needs to be enjoyable. And then I have that, right? So I move that down, right? Okay. So this is really broad. Like, I made these really broad. You may have a lot more detail. Something that that I learned that I think is really important is your priorities should not be dependent on other people in order for you to achieve them. Notice my priority is friends, family, and fun. But I can create those situations. Like, I can create fun. I can invite friends to do things, right? But it's not like be a good father, because that's subjective. Like, what if my kids don't like think I'm being a good father, even though I'm working really hard at it, right? It's dependent on them. It's not like be an amazing husband or make my wife happy. So don't create priorities that might be impossible games or that are things that are dependent on other people. Imagine you have zero ability to impact other people to some degree. They're all fixed points, and you can just do things, what you can do around them. Then you're not trying to change and alter and manipulate everybody else around you, right? What are your priorities for you so that you are making choices? These are choices independent of other people. So you're not a victim, and you're not a victim. Oh, well, my wife wouldn't like go out with me tonight on a date, or, she had a headache, or my son like was mad at me and said he didn't like me, or whatever, right? Don't make these depend on other people. So here's the thing. The way I came to these conclusions is I took a look at the results in my life. So take a look at the results in your life. And then figure out, based on your results, what are your priorities? Based on my results, my priorities were a little bit out of alignment. And so I'm reordering these. I'm intentionally putting these in this order above so that I can do things in a way that's more effective, which means I'm going to be putting more attention towards wealth, power, status, and impact, making money so that I can have a larger reach, a larger impact. That helps me be able to take care of health and spend more time being healthy and not having to go as crazy and, maybe doing some float sessions and, relaxing, meditating, whatever, right? And being less stressed, which allows me then to be more present with clients, with family, with everybody else. And everybody benefits more if I place this as a higher priority. So the question is, if you're not making as much money as you want to be making, if you're not having as big of an impact as you want to be having, if you're not really able to take care of your family in the way that you want to take care of them, you're not able to do the vacations, you're not able to do some of the extracurricular things that you want to do as a family. Maybe it's because you have not yet prioritized yourself in the right way or prioritize the business in the right way. And so this is your invitation to take a fresh look at your priorities. So, um, so this is me being vulnerable, sharing transparently kind of what I think are priorities. And I have a lot of other things that are priorities, but these are just some of the key things that I thought if I put these in the right order, I'll be a lot less frustrated. I'll be a lot healthier, right? I'll have better relationships. Be able to take care of everybody better. And this really helps me to focus. I need to do more work. I need to work harder and I need to have certain goals to get these things taken care of. This really to me means work. That's what this is, right? This is work. Number 2 there. Cool. And that leads to everything else, right? Everything else gets better for me if I put these in this order. And I may change this order as I get older or as other things I may add to this or whatever. But this is my simple, overly simplified prioritization list. And lots of things in my mind go into these categories. So hopefully this is helpful for you. If you are not clear on how to get what you want, that's a whole different problem. But if you know what to do and you're just not doing it, or you have ideas, but you're not trying them, then my guess is your priorities are off. And this is also a message for all my clients. If you're not getting the results that you want right now, you know what to do. We have all the stuff. It's all proven. We tell you exactly what to do. You know what to do. If you're not getting the results, then your priorities are simply off. Your time and your time, energy, focus, cash, and effort, the 5 currencies, you're investing them, you're prioritizing incorrectly if you're not getting what you actually want. So decide what you want, and then you have to decide who would I have to become in order to be the person that gets that result. Who you become would have to be a person that has the right priorities. So hopefully this is helpful. And if this gives you some insights or, let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to see your thoughts. If you want to judge my priorities, go for it. But I'm curious, what are your priorities? What are you placing towards the top, or what do you need to shift based on this? I heard a story of a gentleman, and he was sharing the story that he was prioritizing pleasure over success. And he had lots of pleasure in his life, but he said, I don't feel like I have lots of success. And he went to his mentor and he said, what's going on? And he said, it's easy why you're not having success. You prioritize it, but you prioritize this over this. Just switch those. So he just made the conscious decision. I'm going to now prioritize this. When decisions came up, he's like, well, it's pleasure or success. I'm going to do the hard things and I'm going to do work on success. So this may be a similar sort of thing to what I mapped out here, right? So if you're not getting success, step it up in your priorities and figure out what can I move down. And hopefully this is helpful for you. This was helpful for me. So until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone. Just make sure I end the stream at the right time, not too early. All right.